Доброго дня, шановні колеги. Вітаємо вас в українському кризу.
I'd like to greet you in the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center, the Speaker of the Presidential Administration, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. The first day of May in the A2 area was stable. The rebels continued shooting using the prohibited by Minsk Accord armaments. Yesterday, 5 times our positions were shelled at with artillery with 122 millimeter caliber, and 12 times they fired from 120 millimeter mortars. Ukrainian military officers are holding their positions in the line of defense and respond in operational manner to all the provocation of the adversary. At Mariupol, the only engagement point is, as it was previously, the settlement of Shirokina. Yesterday, the most activity of terrorists was observed in the afternoon, and there our military officers had to reciprocate the fire. At Donetsk, there was a series of provocations from terrorists at northwest environments of Donetsk, from Kamenka to Krasnohorivka. At Horliko, the situation stabilized. There was some teasing fire at our positions at Mayorsk only. At Luhansk, terrorists increased the intensity of shelling at the positions of ATO. Holding points, there were skirmishes at Shastinsk and Luhansk, and also in the vicinity of Bakhmut main road. According to the state border guard service, yesterday 3 drone flights of the adversary were registered yesterday. There were no people killed, 8 were wounded in the Ukrainian force. Ukrainian military officers are learning from experience of American colleagues in the Lviv region. Fearless Guardian 2012 exercises in progress. All the elements are finalized at the facilities of the Center for Peacekeeping and Security of the Academy of Land Force. During the exercise, National Guard officers were learning about basic knowledge and skills for missions in the war conflict areas. First of all, this is individual training in the main disciplines: fire drill, physical drill, medical, special drill, military topography, and tactics. In addition to that, American experts teach National Guards how to effectively apply their leadership skills. Among the participants of the exercise, over 30 officers and non-commissioned officers of the armed forces of the case as observers, and also representatives of the Academy of Land Force. The experience thus acquired will be introduced for training of future officers and military specialists of other chain of command and control links. The exercise will last for 2 months and will be concluded with a 48-hour test, and the National Guards will exercise according to the scenario developed for this purpose. Ukrainian special forces are combating successfully the enemy's propaganda. At Novorodsk in Donetsk Oblast, officers of the Security Service of Ukraine intercepted a car with the propaganda material of so-called Ministry of Information of Donetsk People's Republic. The circulation of production was seized with separatists and Ukrainophobia, and also the original issues of Russian periodicals. According to the driver, he received that products from representatives of so-called Donetsk People's Republic and agreed to ship it for cash. In the liberated territories of Donbass, the Ukrainian TV broadcasting is reinstituted on the top of Karachun Mount at Slavyansk, where the TV mast was originally destroyed. New transmitters were placed to improve considerably the reception Ukraine shows in Slovyansk, Kramatorsk, and Artemis, and also to suppress the broadcasts of the enemy. And this is done for Donbass to hear the voice of all Ukraine. Ukrainian military special force officers are celebrating the second anniversary of the unit. According to the commanding officer, they could not celebrate the first anniversary because of the annexation of the Crimea and the Russian aggression in Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast. The combat banner of the unit given from the President of Ukraine for successes in anti-terrorist operations they received in December last year in Donbass, not in the point of their constant dislocation. The festivity provided some reason for getting together all the friends and volunteers who have been helping them for more than a year now to express their respect and reverence for Bogdan's order was given to more than 50 people, 30 have the velour order, 7 people were given the special firearms, the other marks of appreciation. Military artists made a concert for the defenders of the motherland. The orchestra of Zhytomyr Military Institute introduced a concert, a series of concerts at Artemis and to the local unit of ATO force and for Kramatorsk residents in the repertory, the Ukrainian and foreign popular airs and songs. Dear colleagues, as of now, this is all the information. If you have any questions, please put them now. Ilimanovich 1+1. Please, the terrorists announced that they know the date of the next round of negotiations in Minsk. Do we know the date and what will be the composition of negotiators and what will be the specific agenda? I cannot comment any announcement from that side. I have no information as to that, as to the questions that you raised, and so we can come back to that later when we are ready with some information. Tell us, please, all the shelling and firing is in the north of Luhansk. Are there any concentrations of combatants of the adversary, and why? What's the reason why they are concentrating in this area specifically? It's very difficult for me to say. According to them, this is the best area where they can be successful with their provocation and develop their further offensive. But I would like to say that the situation is under control. Under our control, we are monitoring all the movements of the adversary and the temporarily occupied territories, and the military officers of Ukraine can repel any attempts to mount an attack. Are there any losses among civilians? We have no information on casualties. Yesterday, 8 of our people at Bakhmutiv main road were wounded. Natalia Malarchuk at Shirokina. How many cases of shelling from which side, and are there any wounded there? Can you be more specific there? Yesterday, as I said, yesterday at Shirokina, the most intensive firing was in the afternoon. Yesterday afternoon, I cannot specify the number of wounded, but at that point there were no casualties at all yesterday. The shelling firing is maintained from the territories temporarily occupied by the illicit armed formations. Ksenia Dvornikova, the 5th channel, about Shirokina again. Can you tell us, is there any issue of demilitarization of this community, and what's the position of the ATO staff? Yes, this issue is reviewed. That was initiated by OC. The Ukrainian party in favor of this proposition. We are in the middle of certain parleys. But the first step towards demilitarization should be ceasefire, complete ceasefire on the part of the illicit military formations. When this happens, we'll start negotiations and installing monitoring road posts and further measures to establish and maintain peace in that community. Can this lead to some special tension in Mariupol? Because there are some talks that if we have demilitarization of Shorokin, Mariupol will become more vulnerable. There are certain opinions of that sort, but if demilitarization of Shorokin happens, in any case, with the aid your forces will do all the things necessary to make it impossible for any progress of adversary towards Mariupol, with fortification erected and all that, any defense lines necessary. And, well, if we have no further questions, we would like to thank Colonel Motuzyanyk. Tomorrow we'll have another briefing at the same time. Thank you very much. Goodbye.